Well, we're gonna publish the following year.
I'd like to call this regular meeting of the board. Thank you. Could you please join me in the pledge of allegiance? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to note that we were going to recognize retiring Lee Cabana, but that's been postponed. And I will note that on April 8th, there'll be a ceremony at the high school.
December.
You told me April 8th.
Oh, I meant December.
Okay. December 8th, there's a ceremony at the high school, right?
From 3 to 5 p.m.
3 to 5 honoring the exam. I'd also like to note, and we will recognize at a future meeting, the Waterville High School girls soccer team, which won the state championship. And this isn't the first time they won. They're an exceptional group of girls. If anyone has any committee notes, now's the time to speak up. It's an item that's on the agenda. Please wait until we reach that item on the agenda.
I'd like to congratulate the Waterville boys football team for their run at the state championship. They did lose 20-0, but they did an amazing job. It was a really tough game. And I'd also like to recognize the players that have made All-State Conference. That's Corey Carefno, Benny Cox, Cameron Thomas, which is my son, and Alex Ganner. They've all done a really good job, and I'm very, very proud of the football team and what they've done this year and what they've accomplished.
Anyone else?
My name is Candace Savinelli, and I'm the current owner of Homes and Odie on 72 Main Street in Waterville. Larson's, 2. Paragon Top, 2. Rainmakers, 3. Cardiff, 1. Barrels, 3. Days, 2. Headquarters, 2. Poland, 3. Jones Smoke Shop, 4. Jingwan, 2. Sparrows, 1. Attitudes, 2. Northern Mattress, 1. Amici's, 3. Waterville Main Street, 1. And I am the lucky owner of being number 1 also. What I'm talking about is the vandalism and the smashing of windows on Main Street. I am holding you, and you responsible. You want me to be a responsible business person in this town. Well, I want your help. Come late at night, we have vandals, we have bombing, we have break-ins, we have stabbings, we have shootings. What's going on? We have a police chief who does not have enough police in his force. Shame on every single one of you. I have worked so hard, I have to put out $500. So where's that come from? Maybe my employee's Christmas bonus. Wouldn't that be nice? Maybe I don't pay a bill. Maybe I wait a while. Where am I going to get the $500? And are they going to come back next week and smash me again? Who knows? Look at these numbers. Talk to your local merchants. Pay attention to them. They're the ones bringing in the people in this town. This town is not what it used to be. Open your eyes and take your head out of the sand. Look and talk. I'm tired of getting the runaround. And every single merchant here is angry about the support from City Hall. You're not supporting your merchants. Please do. I made a call to Gubby because there's a slush fund supposedly, and there was no money. He called me today, he said he's willing to give $200 towards my windows, which I appreciate from him. But what are you, and you gonna do about it? I leave it to you. And support that man who has an incredible job in this city to protect, and he is so stressed out from not having enough police department personnel in this city. They are constantly running, constantly doing. Open your eyes, this city's not what it used to be. Stop pretending it's great because it's not happening. Open your eyes and start getting our city back. I want my city back. I want to be proud of who I have. I have a wonderful holy cannoli family. I've built it up. My customers, I love them dearly. You have to respect those people. We put you in this office and we can take you out. Remember that. Thank you.
As a downtown representative and city councilor, I get calls and emails quite often asking what we're going to do to help support and to help fix stores and buildings. And I really want to say that the council, and we need to have a discussion with our new budget season coming up, the new mayor is going to take chair soon. When the chief of police comes to us and says, I need a part-time officer to patrol downtown because of vandalism, or the south end, or the north end, or he comes to us and says something, and only one or two of us say, it sounds like what we need to protect our city, to make our businesses safe, to make our citizens feel safe, to make our city clean and safe. It's sad, because I've been saying over and over again, we need an officer. We need a part-time officer. We need to listen to our police chief. And it fell on deaf ears. So I really hope that with the new budget season comes up, that we take what Candace just said seriously. Because we're going to drive businesses away from here. We have young families. We have families that are pouring in their own money into downtown, into the city. And we're going to drive these people away. We do not take care of them and take care of our city. It doesn't mean that we can fix every window. It doesn't mean that we can come in and repair every door and every light fixture. But we can do something to show that we really want downtown to be a safe place. But that also takes, the bar owners also need to take some responsibility as well. And I'm really appreciative that Gubby was able to put up some money, but we also need to look at Candace, are you the one who gave us these
I gave you
numbers?
that to show you what's going on in the city.
So if you look through here, you know, Waterville House of Pizza, you know, if you start to look at where the stuff is happening, we might be able to also ask these businesses to take some responsibility as well, and I think that's been discussed too. So I really want us to take these requests seriously. I know budgets are tight, but I think this is really, really serious. We're on the verge of some amazing things in Waterville, some amazing things in downtown Waterville, and we don't want a few bad apples to ruin it for the rest of us. And if it takes a part-time officer in the evening to patrol, I think it's worth it.
Can I just say something, just another thing? It's not just what's happening on Main Street, it's also happening in the South End. There was a stabbing 3 or 4 months ago on my street, Terry Lane, and he got stabbed pretty severely, which there was an article in the morning segment about. So it's not just Main Street, it's the whole city this is happening in. So it's not a part-time officer, it's a full-time officer that we need. So we need to really look at what we want, and it's like, how do we raise taxes? And I said when I was running for mayor, nonprofits, it's about community coming together. It's not about saying, we need this from you or that, but we need more money in this city to make the city safer. To make the city safer, we're protecting the nonprofits, we're protecting everybody here. So it's not just about hiring a part-time officer, it's about hiring a full-time officer. Because right now, there's something going on, and we need to about us right now. And like I said, what's happening, 2 houses for me, and this guy who's lost his life, it's happening everywhere. So it's not just Main Street it's happening in the whole city. Let's take a big look at how we as a community want to change the city. Not just Main Street's going to change it, the community's going to change it.
Thank you, Karen. Just for information to members of the council, there are 4 offices on All Lake Road. 4, not 1, 4. If this is happening, with 4 offices on, we're not doing a good job coverage. And we certainly need to talk about that.
Chief, you shaking your head? Not for?
There are times when there are 4. We have an overlapping shift. We have a shift that comes on at 3 p.m. and gets out at 3 a.m. and then we have another shift that comes on at 6 p.m. and gets out at 6 a.m. So there are times during that overlapping shift when we have that type of coverage. And they do cover, and they cover very, very well. What you will never measure is what they prevent by their presence. And we have employed what I think is innovative strategies in the downtown area that has minimized the vandalism. One window is one too many. But the reality is that we have some bars downtown, and when people get out at 1 o'clock and they're intoxicated, they do stupid things. And part of that is walking down the street and breaking windows. And all it takes is 1 second for them to look left and right and don't see a cruiser or a police officer, and they kick the window and break it. Now, there's a 50-50 chance that they might get away with that. I want to say that we have caught probably 3 out of 5. But that doesn't prevent it from happening. And that's what we need to do. And again, all summer long, during the warm nights when they are out roaming, we have undercover officers, we have bike officers. We do everything we can with the resources that we have to try to prevent that. Remember, this is a service center. Where do you think all the young adults go at night to socialize in this area, Central Maine area? They come to Waterville because we have the nightlife that attracts them. And where do they go? They go to the bars. What do they do there? They drink, they get intoxicated, and they do stupid things. So we're policing a much greater population than we're geared up to police. We have 30,000 calls for service a year. Think about that. Are they all serious? Not by a long stretch, but they require a police response. And if you want to look at some of our logs for a 24-hour period and count the number of incidences or the number of calls that we have, like the other day, 170 in a 24-hour period, and then talk about 4 officers, that's a lot of calls for service. During the day, we can have a half a dozen shoplifting calls. Every one of those calls, at a minimum, ties up an officer for at least 45 minutes and up to 2 hours if he makes an arrest. We had 187 shoplifting calls at one store last year. Do the math. There's weeks of an officer responding to shoplifting complaints. So we do a very good job with the officers we have. We don't stand still. We don't stand idle. We look at our crimes. We look where the priorities are. We utilize our resources, and we prioritize and focus in the areas that we should. Again, what you won't measure is what we prevented, because it's not measurable, right? If we have a high visibility downtown and we stop 10 or 15 potential acts of vandalism, and we have one, which one do we know about? The one that we had, not the 15 that we probably stopped. So we do a very good job. Could we use more folks? I'm willing. So let's put them on. We'll have a better coverage. So again, the officers do a good job. We recognize that it's not it's something that we want to have happen in the downtown area. Obviously, it doesn't look good. It's hard on the businesses. And again, one window's one too many, but again, we do everything that we possibly can to minimize that, given the resources that we have.
Didn't you come to us, am I incorrect, you did ask for us to put on a part-time police officer?
Full-time police
A
officer.
full-time,
Full-time police officer.
and we said no.
That proposal has come up a couple of times over the last 2 or 3 years to put an additional officer on. A couple of years ago, we tried for a cops grant and we weren't awarded it. There were only 4 communities in the state. Unfortunately, we were not one of them.
There are some in this crowd who scream bloody murder whenever we talk about, adding expenses to the city's budget because it means more tax dollars. And so, the downtown merchants need to show up when it's time to talk about the budget and have this discussion of putting another officer on. And we need to put pressure on the councils to support it. And people in the public need to understand that it costs money. So are you willing to pay a little bit more in taxes to have a safer city? Or how does it affect your property taxes when these sorts of things happen? The value of your property. So, with all due respect for you to get up and point fingers at the 7 people on this council, no one cares more about the city than people who see sitting up here. All of us give hours and hours of our time. This city has done a lot to support downtown merchants, and I understand this is a problem, but we all need to work together for solutions. We don't need to be pointing fingers at each other.
Thank you, Chief. Are there any other community notes? Yes. Yes, please. Go through them, ladies. Oh, okay.
We're on a different topic.
Yeah, I was limited on this.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Introduce yourself.
I will. My name is Dylan Kendall. I'm a ministry associate at Centerpoint Community Church. And I just want to mention another immeasurable statistic, and that would just be how many the people that have been affected through the church that are not doing those kind of vandalism and crimes. And I'm really nervous. I'll just say that and start. I used to be a vandal, and if I were to come here 5 years ago in my life, the only things that I would have brought to this community would have been drug money and my own vandalism and the lifestyle that I was living. But I've been so affected through the church in a positive way that now that I'm really working, my heart is really burdened for this church as well. And I know I'm a single case, but is your title a sergeant? Or what is your title, chief? But the chief mentioned how one count of vandalism being stopped is a victory, and that I just want to stand here and say there's one victory that the church has brought to Waterville for that count. That's all I want to say.
Thank you. Ladies?
Thank you. Hi, my name is Heather Rose. This behind me is Jen Johnson. She's the president of the Waterville Elementary School PTO, and I'm another member. And we just wanted to extend an invitation to everyone in the community to come out to the George J. Mitchell School on Saturday. We're having a craft fair, and it's from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Saturday, and your dollars will benefit our kids. We are raising money for an assembly at the end of the year. Haven't determined what that is, but it will be science-based. And it's our first annual fair, and we would love to see everyone there to support our kids. Anything else?
This is going to support science education. This is going to be for kindergarten through 5th grade, because this is going to be at the George Mitchell School and at the Hall School. And this is also the same group of people that are working, providing food pantries in multiple elementary schools and enriching curriculum and support in our schools. So we're supporting all of our community's kids, and it would be super awesome if you could make that a little easier by helping us do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else have anything else?
Move to adopt.
Second.
All those in favor? Thank you. ordinance 157 to working members.
An ordinance providing for adoption of the 2014 City of Waterville Comprehensive Plan being enacted by the City Council of the City of Waterville acting as municipal officers as follows. That the 2014 City of Waterville Comprehensive Plan as revised by October 4, 2015, having been approved by the Waterville Planning Board and now complete, and consistent with the Growth Management Act by the Department of Agriculture, Conservation and Forestry, hereby releases the 1997 City of Waterville Comprehensive Plan.
Move to adopt.
Second?
Discussion. All those in favor?
Move to take the third and final reading by title only?
Second.
All those in favor?
An ordinance providing for adoption of the 2014 City of Waterville Comprehensive Plan.
Move to adopt.
Second?
Any discussion? If not, Joyce, please call the roll.
Councilor Lahovich,
Yes.
Councilor Winslow,
Yes.
Councilor Stubber,
Yes.
Councilor Thomas,
Yes.
Councilor O'Donnell,
Yes.
Councilor Boucher,
Yes.
Councilor Rayford Thomas,
Yes.
Thank you. Ordinance number 158-114.
an ordinance providing for amendment to zoning article 2, section 2.1.1, being enacted by the City Council, City of Waterville, acting as municipal officers as follows. The zoning ordinance, article 2, section 2.1.1, the official zoning map dated May 10, 2010, and the written description of zoning boundaries dated July 6, 1971, being hereby are amended as follows. Assessor parcel 26-10 located at 155 West River. It is rezoned from contract zone district commercial B to residential B. And that Center Point Church does not purchase property within 6 months of the effective date of the ordinance, the zoning will revert back to the current zone. The parcel is found on the property map of the City of Waterville dated April 1st, 1992, as updated on April 1st, 2014, and owned by Conoco Bowling Incorporated.
Move to adopt.
Second?
Mike.
Just a brief intro. Of course, we discussed it at our meeting last week or 2 weeks ago. And all of you received a notice from Bill Lee, the city attorney, earlier today, or maybe it was yesterday, regarding his look at the question about the approval of zoning and the fact that it's in a contract zone now, the proposed property to be purchased, so that complicated things. So he's asked if you would postpone your decision tonight until he's had time to review it. So he's recommending you take action, possibly action on December 2nd. I've met with folks from the church. They came in to see me. They're very interested, I think, in helping be a part of the solution in the city. And I know that they probably want to say something before you take any action tonight.
There's someone from the church want to make a statement.
Good evening. My name is Claude Halley, and I am a Waterville resident. I'm actually on the board for the church. Of the 6 board members, well, 5 board members and pastor, I am the only Waterville resident on the church board. Not only am I a Waterville resident, but I pay taxes at 2 locations, my personal property, and I own a property as well. At the last meeting, I was asked by one of the board members afterwards how come I didn't get up and speak, and I had to be very honest because as I sat there and listened to the dialogue, I was very conflicted. Because as a Waterville resident, I understand that the $34,000 or so that would be taken away from the city budget would impact me and my family and my wife and I. We've been resident in the South End for 26 years. At the same time, I try to put myself in your shoes. And as I sat with my hand in my head and I tried to weigh this out, because I wanted to get up and say something, I couldn't because there were 2 sides of me that were very conflicted. But I think after you hear from our pastor tonight, you will I would ask that you hear, not only with your ears, but you would hear with your hearts as well, because we are committed, and I'll let Pastor share more. We are committed to not only being part of the solution, but we want to partner with the city to take Ed up on, I'm sorry, Councilor Waterville.
Someday.
Up on his challenge to find the money. And that, we took that challenge seriously. After the last meeting 2 weeks ago, we met twice to try to come up with a solution. We probably don't have a solution per se. We can't pinpoint a solution right now. But I can tell you, and the pastor will share with you in great detail, that we want to partner with you in the city to try to resolve the fiscal crisis that we are in Waterville, so that my taxes not only don't have to go up, but services don't have to go down either. Because we realize as a nonprofit that our services, because they are services that we provide, we can't put a dollar figure on. And I know that that's what the council wants to see. Show me the money. And you know, much like the chief said earlier, what you don't see is what we do provide. And a dollar figure can't be put on that. So, Pastor will share in a moment that we want to be part of the solution. As a nonprofit Christian organization, we care about this city, and we want to partner with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity and the time, and I just ask you for just patience for a couple minutes as I share my heart. I want to start by apologizing. The last time I was up here, I'm very passionate about our cause and about our mission, and I think maybe that came across in the wrong light, and I really want to share my heart tonight. And as Claude has mentioned, I trust you. Just give me a minute so I can share my heart, because the things I've heard shared from other business owners trouble me, they trouble us, and we want to be a part of the solution. We do see ourselves as that, and I think at the last meeting, the challenge that was given by one of the councilmen was find us a solution to the issue of the loss of revenue. And we took that to heart, and we didn't just have 2 meetings, we had 2 official board meetings. There were several meetings that we had discussing how we can better partner with the city and be a part of the solution. We believe that the local church is the hope of the world. We really believe that. I'm passionate about that because I believe that that's the answer. You heard from a young man over there, and that's just a few. Where do the young adults go? Chief Massey was asking. We have 40 young adults from the city that come to our gym every Sunday night and they play basketball. These are not kids or young adults from our church, they're from the community, from the North Street, the North End, and the South End. They come over to our place and they hang out. It's a safe place for them to do what they do and stay out of trouble. So we're trying to be a part of the solution. I made a statement when I came to our church 9 years ago as a lead pastor, and I said if the doors of our church closed tomorrow and no one in the city noticed or cared, we haven't done our job. And I'm proud to say to you today, nearly 9 years later, I believe that the doors of our church closed tomorrow, there would be many in our city that would be devastated. They would wonder, what are we going to do? Who are we going to call? Where are we going to go? And you may not realize this, but we exist to meet the needs of our city, both the felt needs and the spiritual needs. Many organizations in this community now call upon our church when there's a need. Just today I got a call from a member of Waterville Junior High saying we need more help with turkey baskets we're trying to put together. And I was able to say without a hesitation, we can give you an additional 10 baskets to help you go towards your need of 27. Because we had already put together 40 baskets for our community. The public library calls us when they need gloves for little children. They call Centerpoint Community Church. Maine Children's Home for Little Wanderers when they need a car seat for an infant. They call us, and within minutes, we get them a seat. Reach and Rise, when they need mentors for children in the city of Waterville. They call us. Mainly Elder Care, when they need coats for the elderly. They call us. Youth Matter, when they need help for teens, whether it be teaching them how to write a resume or employment opportunities. They call us. Our church has grown from 40 people in the last 8.5 years to over 350 on a regular basis, and over 500 that call at home. The school has grown from 65 kids to over 200. We have a driver's ed program that brings people into the city now from a competitor that we charge $165 less for the course. They come to Waterville. They call us for those things. Our basketball season, we bring people to the city. 5 years ago, we put in a $28,000 playground, not just for our church or our school, but for the community. And when we put that in, we said this is a open to the community playground. It's a North End playground on the south side of town. We did that completely on our own dollar, and it's open every day of the week for the public. The community uses that, and the basketball court. Many of you may not be aware, but we employ over 40 people at our church on a weekly basis. We're a pretty large small business in Waterville, employing 40 employees. 3 of our staff serve the Waterville Sunrise Rotary and all that the Waterville Sunrise Rotary encompasses. They work for our church, but we give them hours out of the office to go and serve the community in the Rotary program. The list goes on and on, but I'm not here to bore you with that list because, as Claude said, you're looking for other answers. I believe that we've done our job and we've done it well. We've done it so well that we've outgrown our facility. Our church exists for its non-members. We're a church that we believe our mission and the whole reason that we exist, and we're the only organization in the world that exists entirely for its non-members. What do I mean by that is we're not a church that is just for our church. We're here for those people who don't go to any church or call any church home. We're here to serve the city of Waterville. The bottom line is, as we do our job better, I believe more people will be drawn to the city. We heard your plea 2 weeks ago at the meeting where you said, we need help. We've since had several meetings to talk about how we can better. I shared with you a few ways that we're already serving our community, but I didn't come with a listening ear enough last time to hear you, and we heard you. How can we better serve our community according to the main financial needs that you addressed? And that issue is a loss of tax revenue. And it's a significant issue for you folks. I don't want to be responsible that the chief can't hire another officer because you're losing additional revenue. I volunteer for the chief of the fire department and the police department to serve for free. I don't want to be a part of the problem. We want to be a part of the solution. And so bear with me as we look at how we can help. Last time I came to the meeting, and I was more concerned about our needs for new facility. And I'm coming to you tonight telling you that I wasn't considering enough about your situation, the loss of revenue. I apologize. And I missed that. Will you forgive me? I was wrong there. I recognize that our role as a religious organization and as a church in this city is much different than your role of governing the great demands of Waterville and the residents of this city. I would never presume that we as a church should or would plan to intervene in managing the financial needs that you have. However, you asked us for solutions. I have a much better understanding of the needs and do believe that we as a church can and will approach things differently than we have in the past, in lieu of what you voiced about your financial struggles that the city's having. And we sat around and we talked about the reality that taxes are increasing, services are decreasing. That's a problem. We've got to fix that. We've got to help come up with some solutions as a church, and that's what we're here to do. I met with the chief of the fire department, talked about projects that we might be able to adopt off of that list, potentially. I also want you to know that the day of our meeting 2 weeks ago, I had already met with 7 local pastors, and we were talking about already how we can help the police department. One of our pastors has already contacted Chief Massey about buying cameras for the officers. It's probably an item that is on your budgetary needs that we can say, hey, we want to help do that. There's another minister here that will vouch for that. We've already talked about how we can take those issues off of the plate of you folks and be a blessing to the service needs of our city. All that said, I recognize our role as a church is much different than your role as counselors. I want to commit to you that we're going to be more aware and more proactive at discovering what the needs are and how we, as a church, can relieve some of those needs of the city. We strongly believe that as we continue to help serve the needs of the general assistance needs in our city through heating assistance, as I spoke with Mike Roy about, helping to get people off of welfare, training them to get jobs, that they'll be better citizens and contributing members of the society here in Waterville, to help find solutions to the problem of the lost. I could give you a list of areas that I've taken a lot of time already that we've literally over the past year poured thousands of dollars into the city's needs, heating assistance, food, and even shelter, free rehabilitation programs that we've run. We open our building constantly to organizations like Maine General, host a regular program. It's a drug prevention program. We work with the other organizations that were aforementioned. We also pay taxes on 2 properties. Because of our growth, we have 2 other properties that we pay taxes on here in Waterville. Those are residents. We as a church work with about 20 non-religious and non-profit organizations in the city. It's my heart as a local pastor to bring a better coalition between religious and non-religious organizations and say, how can we partner together to better serve the needs of our community, because they've asked us to come up with solutions. And we take that challenge serious. I want you to know that. And we do mean business. And as I told Mike, the city manager, we're not just looking for a one-time deal. We've been doing our job, but we need to approach it differently because we've heard what you said. We've heard you say, hey, we're losing tax revenue. The bottom line is, we would request still tonight that you acknowledge that we've got a problem too. Our problem is a good problem to have. Because of our growth, we've outgrown our facility. We cannot expand on our current property. We need to expand to another property. And we want to help another business owner who's looking to sell by buying that building so it's not left vacant, occupy it, and grow and continue to expand. As we grow, we're going to be able to better help serve these needs that you have. And I hope that you can see that. We take serious crime in the city of Waterville. We feel like that's our responsibility. Those are issues above and beyond even the police department. We as a church, and there's many people here that recognize that's our mission, to change the face of our city. This business owner is crying out for help, saying, we got a big problem in our city, north end, south end, and beyond. We hear that, we see that, we desire to be part of a solution. So I'd ask you please to and I know that this wouldn't be intentional, but don't tie our hands, don't stifle what we believe the Lord is doing through our ministry to make an impact in our community. And I understand that you've been asked to consider holding this off, but I would also say that holding this vote off again and pushing it back past December is going to cause tremendous additional financial burden on us as we move forward this process, and the seller that needs to sell this property. We really need to move forward. And in closing, we talked about, anti-violence, anti-bullying, those things. We're a church that has put on those campaigns for local schools and funded much of that out of our own pocket. The schools helped to support some assemblies that we did just last year, but we funded many of those things. And so I know that there are dollar figures, but I also hear what you're saying, Council. You need more help. We've heard you. We want to be a partner with you, a better partner with you, and find solutions. So I would request that you please seriously consider our request so that we can continue to do our job and to do it well, to change the face of the city of Waterville. That's our mission. Thanks for your time and for extending me a little extra grace. I appreciate it.
Chair, I move to table this until the 2nd of December. We can get the opinions back
please listen.
Oh, sounds like you have something on this issue, sir.
If you don't mind,
Are you going to agree?
I will be brief. I think what I have to say has some merit.
Okay.
I have already made two bad decisions in this deal. Number one, I negotiated with a pastor. That's totally unfair to me. And number two, now I'm speaking after him, and that's also unfair. Let me go back a little bit, because I heard your challenge the other week too. I wasn't invited to the talkings at the church, but I also have come up with some ideas. First of all, I'd like to give you a little bit of background. I don't live in Waterville. I've never lived in Waterville. I probably never will live in Waterville. I'm not from here. I grew up in West Gap. I did spend 20 years living in Winslow. And I've spent over 30 years of my working career working in Waterville. My first job after I got out of the service in 1969 was pumping gas at the Shell station at the intersection of College Avenue and Upper Main Street. Years later, I moved up College Avenue and became an IRS agent and worked out of the office there. A few years after that, I moved further up College Avenue into a CPA firm and ran that for 13 years. I then moved further up College Avenue and became the first general manager of Marvin's Discount Store prior to the former meeting. So I have a lot of background. Why do I care? This is more home. I've spent more of my adult life here than anything. What have I been involved in? I've been involved in over 50 years of council and board time in the greater Waterville area. Where did I do this? St. John's Church in Winslow. And I was chair of their pastoral committee for 4 years. Oak Grove Colvin School, a couple of years out there. Waterville Osteopathic Hospital, which is now Inland Hospital. I spent a couple of years there. I was one of the founding members of Big Brothers Big Sisters Waterville chapter, which we later merged into the Kennebec Valley Big Brothers Big Sister, and I became chair of that organization for 2 years. Mid-Maine Chamber of Commerce, 8 or 9 years, chair of that for 2 years. Hospice Volunteers of Waterville, 8 or 9 years, chair of that for 2 years. Mid-State Economic Development Corporation, on the board of directors, 8 years. Winslow Project graduation, probably the toughest job I had, because I was one of the few men there, and my job was to keep all the women from going off into separate conversation and stay focused on me. And a couple of years on the Cutlass Committee, which formed a brother or sister city relation with Cutlass Project. My ideas, I don't have numbers to put with them, and I too would like to be a part of the solution, not a part of the problem. First on my list is First Park.
Is your list very long, sir?
Pardon me?
Is your list very long?
It is not very long. I go through First Park today, and I know First Park is a huge financial burden on, I think, 19 communities in the Central Maine area. I think we need to look at a different solution for that. I know you can't disassemble what's being done, but I bet there's better ideas that could probably save everybody some money. Economic development, key. You're without an economic development person up here now. I think it's a perfect opportunity to back up, take a fresh look. The old ways of economic development not working. First Park is proof of that. We thought we're going to bring all these people from away in First Park. What do we got? T-Mobile. I think that's the only business up there that's from away. It didn't work. It was a good try. It didn't work. Business incubator. I happen to be involved with 3 of the more successful small businesses that grew in the Waterville area. And I knew them when they started young. Dana Caswell started Caswell Liquidation in a little store in Garden. Doug Sloopforth started Midstate Machine in his garage with 1 machine. Mickey Martin started at a little store on the Elgin and grew his business. They all had help. And there are people around today who have ideas that are probably just as good as theirs. They need help to do that. There are different ideas going around right now about doing that. One's called an innovation hub, where different towns or communities are fostering ideas based on their background. We have Colby and Thomas College here. Perfect. So I think we need to be more involved with that. Colby College, the new president has indicated he wants to be more involved with the community. Let's get him involved. They have deep pockets of it. They would be very helpful, and they probably already are helpful.
I hate to cut you off, but you're getting away from what we're here to.
No, I have a final point to make that's very germane to what we have here. You wanted ideas how to get the $34,000 back. You gotta create new business. And you gotta do it differently than you've been doing because it's not working. It's not working anyway. Well, New York City's gonna give people tax-free for 10 years. How are you gonna compete with that? You can't. Third point, city council sets the tone for economic development. Businesses looking to bring to the community look for business-friendly community. Madison was awarded business-friendly community status just recently. Even they said Waterville had that as well. Does it mean anything? Yes, it does. This probably won't infuriate you to me, but when I did the CPA back in the 80s, city council was very hard to deal with in the city of Waterville. I encourage a good many businesses to locate in Winslow, Fairfield, and Oakland because you could do business there. You couldn't do business in Waterville. What you do on this matter matters because people are watching. And will it help them make a decision? Well, will. So I ask you to think about that as you go through this. Fourth point, Beagle P can help the new owners of the new bowling center get their business going. Who are they? I can't tell you. I don't know you. I dealt with 2 people today who are actively seeking to do that. Are they going to need help? Yes, they are. And they're going to need help from all kinds of sources, city council being one. Fifth issue, I'd be happy to be involved to help this. I'd be happy to be on planning committees to look at any of these issues or other issues that I haven't mentioned, because it's not one issue that's going to solve the whole thing, it's many. If you want more tax money, you have to have more business. If you have more business, what as they call it, the boat rises to the high water, we'll all be better off. Is it going to matter to me? Not personally, because I don't live here. But this is, I consider the Waterville area my hometown. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. You were about to say something.
Yes, I place the motion to table until December 2nd.
Second. Any discussion of that motion? All those in favor of tabling until December 2nd? Karen, you had something?
No.
Unanimous? Okay.
That was a good one.
Was it? Who opposed it? It is tabled until December 2nd, and we will deal with the issue on December 2nd. I guarantee you that. Next. Joyce. ordinance
An ordinance
59.
Move to read by title only.
Second.
Thank you.
All those in favor? Joyce? Just
An ordinance providing for amendment to zoning article 2, section 2.1.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Move to take the third and final reading by title only.
Second.
All those in favor?
An ordinance providing for amendment to zoning article 2, section 2.1.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Any discussion? Read the roll, Joyce, please.
Councilor Corbett,
Yes.
Councilor Winslow,
Yes.
Councilor Thomas,
Yes.
Councilor O'Donnell,
Yes.
sorry, Councilor Stubber,
Yes.
Councilor Boucher,
Yes.
Councilor Rayford Thomas.
Yes.
Under new business. Resolution 161.
A resolution providing for authorizing the issuance of a victim's license for Sunrise Dakota Express Incorporated doing business as Dakota Express. Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Waterville, Recognition of Municipal Officers as follows. The City Council may authorize the issuance of a victim's license for Sunrise Dakota Express Incorporated doing business as Dakota Express at 80 Western Street.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Here, is anyone from the restaurant here? Would you come up so we can? Can you tell us what you're doing with the restaurant? Is it changing the core or menu or what are you doing?
No, nothing has changed. I'm retired. I've been 40 years in Waterville business. I made my funeral and I should be retired. As for, this gentleman is going to buy my business, take over every aspect. Take all the employees, the cook, everything.
The menu's the same.
And menu the same, price the same.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Enjoy your retirement.
I have to. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any discussion?
Congratulations.
All those in favor?
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Resolution 162.
Need to vote first on this.
They just did. They did. While you were shaking hands.
Ready the next one? A resolution providing for authorizing the issuance of a liquor license to Sunrise Dakota Express Incorporated doing business as Dakota Express. Be it resolved by the City Council, City of Waterville, acting as the municipal officers as follows. The City Council hereby authorize the liquor license to Sunrise Dakota Express Incorporated doing business as Dakota Express 80 Restaurant.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Unanimous, please. Resolution 163-2014.
Move to read by title only.
Second.
All those in favor?
A resolution providing for canvassing of votes and determination of the result of the municipal election held on November 4, 2014.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Thank you. Resolution number 164-2014.
Move to read by title only.
Second.
All those in favor?
A resolution to issue overweight permits.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Any discussion? Mike, what's this about?
Well, they're going to be repairing the bridge over the Messalonskee Stream on Western Avenue. So there's postings on weight limits, and we have to actually give them authority to exceed the weight limits as part of the work on the road. So it's pretty much a rubber stamp. Obviously, we want the work done, so we need to approve them having trucks that are heavier than
Are they gonna do that this fall?
Are they going to do that? No, not this fall, but during 2015. Yeah.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Are we going to be requiring the bond? Are we going to be requiring the bond?
No. I don't think, we haven't in the past for these kind of things, so.
And we haven't had any problem.
We haven't had any problems.
All those in favor? Thank you. Order number 165, that's approved to read by title only.
Second.
All those in favor?
In order providing for approval of forfeitures. Move to adopt.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Thank you. Order number 166-2014.
Move to read by title only.
Second.
Thank you.
All those in favor?
In order to appropriate and expend funds for aviation easement.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Discussion? Mike?
I'll definitely need help on this one, so I'm going to ask Greg to stand up and help explain. And I think probably the visual he has will go great ways in helping to understand. So, Greg, I'll hold it up if you want to do the introduction. What we're talking about is the federal requirement to remove obstructions in the approaches to the runways, of which we have two major runways at the airport, the so-called crosswind runway, which runs this direction, and the main runway. And so if there are obstructions, trees principally, that grow up in the approaches to those runways, we're required to remove those. Part of the removal means having some time to get it. So I think the principal problems are in the crosswind runway approach, right, Greg?
Two of the three properties that we've been looking at on the first year are towards the open end of the crosswind runway.
The terminal building at the airport being right here, so that I'm sorry you can't see it in great detail where you are, but basically the terminal is here, the airport road leading up to it. But it's this area here
That's the two areas. There's a third area that's on the hill behind the Faith Evangelical Free Church. There's the trees on that hill that are sort of required easement of that property. So that's the first year. And the second year has yet to be determined, but the FAA has programmed funds for additional work. They're going to let the first year evolve and then define the scope and see if we can move that forward as quickly as possible.
Greg, would you explain why we need to appropriate $300,000?
Yeah, for most FAA projects, we're allowed to apply for a grant and then expend funds after we get the grant with the promise in hand that they will reimburse us. Land easements are an exception to the rule. So what they ask us to do is acquire the land easements, and then after we acquire a purchase and sale agreement, we go to the FAA and they reimburse us. In this case, they've already programmed the funds for these properties and approved the scope of work. So they've, all but the ink on the paper, they've authorized us to go ahead and do the work, and we will get the reimbursement. But federal regulations require us to get at least to the purchase and sale agreement before we can request reimbursement. So I need the funds up front to do the work and get the refund later.
And what will this actually cost us?
The net cost of the city will be under $3,000 to leverage $300,000 to acquire these easements. And
That's our 5% share.
It's actually less than our 5% share, because we've already expended some funds. We did the crossing runway with the promise that if we followed up with this next phase that I'm asking for the money for right now, they would reimburse 95% of $13,400 that we used to obtain a temporary permission to access trees and cut the crossing runway question. So in effect, this gives us a 5% would be $15,000. But we'll also get 95% of the 13.4 that we spent a few years ago with a promise that if we do this work, we'll be reimbursed for it. So it ends up to about $3,000 total.
Any questions, Joe? Thank you, Joe.
And there'll be 2 more readings of this, so if there are additional questions, we'll be at the next meeting. Frank, this is in order.
If there are no further questions, all those in favor? Mike, you're on.
Yes, I have just 4 items under the manager's report. Tomorrow night in this room is a public hearing on the study that's going on about the intersection connecting the downtown and the Hathaway complex. On that intersection at 6:30 in this room is a public hearing where the traffic engineers will show a computer model about how traffic moves through that 4 and 5-way intersection. 6:30 tomorrow night.
There'll be no solutions offered at that meeting, is that correct?
That is correct. What we want, thank you, right, because what we want is for people to look at the traffic simulation that's shown and have people tell us, you think that's really what it's like? They took traffic data over a period of 2 days and assembled this computer simulation of how traffic moves through that intersection so people get a chance to look at it on screen and decide if, yeah, that seems to be about the way the traffic pattern is. That's what we're looking for tomorrow night. But right, we're not at the solution stage yet. I just wanted to remind the council that in our contract negotiations with the 2 unions, we're pretty much at an impasse, so we will be going into mediation with our Public Works union. As to whether we go into mediation with the other union, the passenger union or not, we probably won't know that for another week. I just wanted to keep you up to date. We have a big bond issue that we've talked about a number of times, but we really haven't spent a lot of time looking at all the items in Public Works and Parks and Rec and Fire and so on. So I'm asking the council if you want to meet an hour before your next regular meeting, which will be Tuesday, December 2nd, at 6 o'clock. Spend an hour, or we can do it at any other time, spend an hour looking at those bond issue items in a lot more detail. It's going to be on your agenda that evening too. So we can do it then, or if you want a preview, we could start ahead of time. I'm open to any suggestions.
I'm good with preview.
Having a preview?
Yeah.
Are people okay with that? It's at 6 o'clock
That
on
works.
Tuesday the 2nd.
At
They
what
would,
time to go over all these, do you feel like an hour at a time
well,
to go through each?
it's gonna be tough to get them all in. Yep.
Because there's a lot on that list.
There's a lot on that list. And so Mark will be here on Public Works, Chief LaFountain will be here on Fire, Randy will be here on the airport, Matt will be here on Parks and Rec. It'll be tough to get through it all, but we will have the meeting afterwards to also continue some of that. So, but that's the good thing about it. It is in order, so it does require 3 votes. So December 2nd will be the first reading. You'll have 2 more votes to take, so there'll be at least 2 meetings on it.
There'll be plenty of time, really, some detailed discussion.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, we want to make sure that everyone understands everything that's proposed.
So 6 o'clock?
6 o'clock. Yep, 6 o'clock. I'll certainly remind you. Oh, the last thing is this notice, which either went out today or tomorrow, and it's going to every property owner in the city, but I just wanted you to have a copy ahead of time because it talks about the revaluation project that's coming up. Just as a reminder to people that there are people out in the community measuring homes, trying to get accurate information on all the properties. And of course, you've heard about this before. They're in the data collection stage now, so we want to make sure people know that if someone shows up at their home with a tape measure, they do have an identification card on them, they do have a letter that says they're part of a city project on property rebound. It's a long project. Remember, these values won't take effect until 2016, so we've got another full year, but we want to make sure, as best we can, people know about it ahead of time. They've been out in the community now for a month and a half, more up in your area, Ward 1.
Yeah, it's already done in my house.
Already done your house. We certainly encourage everybody who owns a building, a property in Waterville to let these folks in to measure and make sure that we have an accurate reading of what is there. Bathrooms, bedrooms, condition of the home. So that's the notice that's going out. That's the last thing I have.
Mike, did you talk about the sewer district meeting? Public hearing?
See, which public district?
Sewer district. Sewer district.
Oh, I forgot item 2. Yes.
By the way, Roland hasn't sent me the data he said he would send me.
I think he did. I got a copy. Maybe it didn't go through on yours.
I haven't received it.
Oh, okay. So, I'll double check on that. And, yeah, thank you, Joyce. On Monday, December 8th, right here in this room, this Waterville Sewer District is holding a public hearing. The rates for our sewer use is going up. The sewer is not the city's responsibility, it's the sewer district using this room for their public hearing. So we want to make sure people know that on Monday, December 8th at 5:30 p.m. is a public hearing. Rate increase.
And that was the result of the reevaluation that we asked for?
That's a result of the study that we asked for, correct, last year, and as a result of that study, our rates are going down $70,000.
They didn't know I was still working on that. They did it right this time. They did it for the city. They did it right.
Yeah. What we pay the sewer district for is the management of our stormwater. So all the catch basins that you see and all the stormwater stuff you see, we pay them to manage that. And so their fees to us are going down by $70,000, so that's good. Now, that $70,000 is going to come from somewhere else. So it's coming from the rest of us as ratepayers.
Well, it's not only that, Mike, but the rates they were charging weren't enough to support the cost of the operations, right?
True.
And this rate study would have happened in another year or two, whether we asked for it.
Oh, yes, it would have. That's right. It wasn't just our request. They do one about every 5 years or so. Are there any questions on any of this?
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, everybody, for coming to this meeting.